Hello, welcome. My name is Konstantinos, and we have with us Daniel. Me and Daniel are going to have a conversation and we're going to ask questions to each other relating the situation we're currently in, but also ideas such as intergenerational partnership, but also the project called Act Together and the organization Learning for Wellbeing. So, Daniel, hi, how are you?
Well, I'm quite well. Actually, it has been an extraordinary experience to be confined with my family.
And how have you been keeping busy? Like, how have you spent your time?
I've discovered that a lot of things can get done through Zoom.
Mhm.
And so both for my business, which has been quite active in the coronavirus situation, and the foundation, we have managed to move in a quite dramatic way online.
Could you please explain more about the foundation's work, any project your foundation is working on?
The project that we are actively most busy with is Act Together. Children have ways to contribute that are creative, out of the box, open and vulnerable. It's a beautiful opportunity, I think, to revisit how do we want to live with children.
Why is this idea or this project important to you personally?
I would have liked to be taken much more seriously when I was a kid. I was quite mature myself, and for me, adults were really not seeing the situation fully. I lost my father when I was 13, and my mother said, well, now you are the man of the family, but I only felt a responsibility and I had no authority about it.
That's a definitely great story, and thank you for sharing it. You mentioned about the learning for well-being approach, that there is the idea of partnership.
Yes.
Would you be willing to share any good memories you have of partnership between children and adults in a project that will create fairness and sustainability?
My deepest, my fondest memory has been when I took my 2.5-year-old daughter to Cats. I was supposed to give a speech, and she was not at all willing to let me go on my own on the dais. So she decided she would come with me, and she took a chair and she standed with me while talking, and so it was a perfect way of sharing the responsibility of talking about children and adults. So that was a very fond memory. That
What would you think would be the key ingredient, the key, let's say, combining force that connects children and adults so that they can help them partner?
Well, the most important ingredient is curiosity of each other's inner world. What's happening inside ourselves? And so holding a true curiosity and letting go of judgment is so important. But from the adult perspective, also the willingness to let go of power. You need to be willing to partner, and partnering means you plan together, you decide what to do together, and you move on together. You know, we are born with certain core capacities which are alive in all of us. And I think progressively, due to the environment that we live in, we lose some abilities that we were born with. And
Yeah, definitely creativity, curiosity, as you mentioned. Those are things that we could definitely tap in during those times. But it's also important to understand that although this may be a very difficult time, it's also, we're so lucky to live in the digital age that I can communicate with you, even though we're both in our homes and now we're just talking using the technology that we have. And if you had to choose one core capacity to connect with younger people, which one would you use?
Listening.
And why?
You really need to listen to each other to understand the other. And listening is not just hearing, is listening deeply with the whole of yourself, and all of your aspects. So you also need to listen for the space in between. Listen to the silence in between us, for what is intended with the words. What's the intention behind the words?
I think I would choose the same, especially now that people feel the need to be listened, but also to listen to each other.
Yes.
And listening is just as you said, hearing. It's about understanding someone and trying to engage in a conversation as well.
Exactly.
And I think that's something we need to use now. I mean, I was reading this. I don't know if you've seen what's happening in the U.S. currently. There was this phrase that Martin Luther King said in one of his famous speeches, which was about, "I have a dream that one day my children, when they grow up, they won't be judged by the color of the skin."
And I would like, I agree, and I feel that we're moving into a space where the color of the skin, in fact, is less relevant. Still quite present, though. And I would like to say, listen to each other's deepest aspirations and find ways to support them. It is a very, very special time. The world has understood that it's one, and now everything is interconnected, and that we are each responsible. And so it is a real opportunity for this relationship to flourish if we are really going to take it seriously.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your message. It was great talking to you.
I enjoyed it deeply, and I look forward to our doing together.
Yes.
Thank you so much.